I personally would say I'm somewhere between late and end game, although I don't have giant sword I can afford one. If I sold my creative mind, years 1 to 54 cake bag, my unused pets, etc. I would likely easily afford Hyperion, Leg Ender Dragon Pet, and the rest of my Talus Recount. So if you count the value in those items I am. Endgame.
ThirtyVirus. You've seen his YouTube videos, but some of you guys might have seen his questionable opinions, like this one. Dungeon Seeker should totally not be required for S+, or maybe this one. Yep, you read it correctly. If he sold his stuff, he's endgame apparently. All the discords are memeing him for this, but let's do some investigation. Let's take a look at the quote again. If he sold his creative mind, year 1 to 54 cake bag, and some pets, and some random items, he can afford a Hyperion, legendary E-Drag, and rest of his talisman bag recomped. I have some doubt about this, but let's do some math. Creative minds were sold between 150ml and 250ml 5 months ago. No creative minds are sold since then, including inflation. Let's roughly estimate his creative mind is worth 300 million. And of course, let's not forget about his cake bag. Calculating his cake bag is a little bit more complicated, since some cakes are worth up to 100 million. Give or take, let's assume his cake bag is worth 250 million. That is way overpaid, by the way. 5 months ago, a max cake bag is worth 50 million. How about his unused pets? According to the net worth bot, all of his pets are worth 600 million total. So let's just assume his unused pets are worth 300 million. Add a 75 million purse and some of his useless items, let's just assume he has 950 million worth of items to sell. 950 mil is kind of a stretch. Good luck selling a cake bag for 250 mil and some of his pets for 300 mil. But anyways, he claims he can afford a Hyperion, Leg E-Drag, and his talisman bag recomped, and of course, that giant sword he keeps talking about. A normal Hyperion with no fancy enchants or chimera is worth 450 million. A legendary E-Drag is worth 450 million as well. Taking a look at his Sky Crypt, he's missing 29 recomps for his talismans, so 29 times 5 mil is 145 million. And that giant sword he keeps talking about is worth 130 million. Add that all up together, and it's worth 1.175 billion. 1.175 billion is indeed a bigger number than 950 million. Sure, that doesn't add up, but is he actually endgame? According to himself, being endgame needs to meet the following requirements. Having a Hyperion, some sort of damage set like Necron and Warden, 95% of his talisman recomped, and skill average of 50. Let's see if he meets his own requirements. He does not have a Hyperion or Valkyrie, but he can probably afford one if he sells his creative mind that he won't sell. And also he does have a Necron set with a Warden helmet, and he also has 96% of his talismans, but he does not have the highest tier for some of his talismans like the Ender Relic, Master Skull, and Soulful Cell. Those talismans are fairly new, so we will give him that. So he does have skill average 50, but he barely meets his own endgame requirements. And realistically, an endgame player will be able to beat a tier 4 Enderman consistently nowadays.
Getting out of algorithm, then you're going to see why you're fucking bad. Literally, you're kind of sad just because you post better content even though it's the same shit. Literally, you can suck my, literally, you're fucking prick once you run out of districts.